Hello and welcome. My name is Blaze Asayan, and today I want to discuss how putting other people ahead of yourself can actually be detrimental to your well being. And I don't mean that in the sense that putting people ahead of yourself is a bad thing, but it can certainly go too far. So I believe in life, if we want to be able to help anyone else around us, we need to help ourselves first. We need to solve our own issues, tackle our own problems, fight our own demons before we can help other people do that for themselves. And for the longest time, I always tried to help people around me without them ever asking for it. And this is something I learned over time to fix. It took a lot of work on myself to finally prioritize my needs instead of other people's. I used to let other people's problems actually affect me to the level where I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about their problems instead of my problems, which caused me to stay stagnant in life and not to move forward and progress. And I think in large part, this is why I do what I do. Helping others, it's just in my nature. For as long as I've remembered, I have just been there for people without them even asking for it. I just wanted to be there because I felt bad for them. I'll give you an example. I used to have a friend who had pretty bad parents, and I would actually just go over to his house because he was so lonely. They would never talk to him, and I just wanted to be there with him. So whenever he tried to come to my house, I would say, no, can't come to my house today. I have something going on there. So I would always go to his house, and it was sad, you know. I just wanted to be there for my friend. His parents didn't even talk to him, go days without talking to each other. It was a bad situation. I am so grateful that I grew up in the household that I grew up in, but I got a lot of exposure to what the real world was like at a pretty young age, and how a lot of people aren't fortunate enough to grow up in loving households where the parents are drug addicts or simply don't care about their kids. It's a sad thing. I've seen it, and it probably hurt me just as much as it hurt my friend, to be honest with you. Like, really was a pain for me. I felt so bad for him. I had this period in my life when I was in my early to mid-teens, and I had a friend whose parents were drug addicts, and he started going down that path as well. And I started to wake up in the middle of the night with this spasm in my hand. My whole hand and arm would go numb sometimes, and I would wake up in the middle of the night with a numb hand, and I wouldn't understand why this was happening. And right when I woke up as well, I was having the thought of my friend, and if he was okay. So I actually had physical problems with myself that occurred because of the mental pain that I was going through. I wasn't in control of my friend and his family and their whole situation, but I felt a pain so deep down that it affected me physically. I couldn't sleep. I really didn't sleep at all for months on end, and it damaged me greatly. So after some time, I finally decided that I had enough. I needed to put myself first. And I'm not trying to act like a saint right now, okay? Not like I'm some saint who always puts other people's needs ahead of my own, and that I have no desires for myself. That's not true. I have desires for myself and my life, but not back then. They were all halted because I put other people's desires ahead of my own, and other people's needs ahead of my own, and other people's problems ahead of my own. This is so damaging. So I made this decision that I wouldn't let other people's problems affect me anymore, because ultimately I'm not in control. There's some things that I simply cannot help with, as frustrating as that was for me to come to grips with. So I had to make some big decisions about who to separate from. It wasn't just this one friend, it was a lot of people. A lot of people I hung around with were, not great influences to be around. And they all had a lot of issues, whether it be with family or addictions or whatever it may be. I said, you know what? It's time to move forward. And I made the hard decision of removing a lot of people from my life. As harsh as this might sound, I had to do it because I wasn't going to let my health be damaged anymore by other people's issues. So I went into this phase of my life where it was lonely, but I focused on improving myself. I slowly cut out all of these habits from my life, focusing on myself, quitting nicotine, smoking, pornography, working out every day. Eventually I would start eating really healthy, watching my diet, and really trying to improve myself as a person, become the person who I've always dreamed of being. That person from ever since I was a young age who had a desire to be great, but let that get halted for a few years while I prioritized other people ahead of myself. And now I'm back on this mission to achieve my dreams while still caring for others. That's first and foremost with me in my life. I want to have massive success, whatever it may be financially. I want to have an amazing family. I want to live an extraordinary life. But before all of that comes the importance of service to the people who I think I'm best qualified to serve, which is why I am starting with young men, because I had the experience of being a young man. I've grown up in this generation, and I know the big problems that young men face today. There are some dire problems that young men are going through, and I'm not just going to sit on the sidelines and watch people suffer the way that I did. And I had someone tell me a story today about a young man who took his own life. And this is happening a lot more frequently recently in the United States. Also, young men acting out violently. I think this is dangerous, and it's a societal problem. It's a societal messaging problem. And I'm sick and tired of it. So I need to be a part of this, and I want to get my face in there. I don't care if I'm controversial. I don't really care. I see a lot of issues socially in this country that are causing these things. These things are not happening just because they are young men, okay? There's a societal problem, and it needs to get rooted out. So, the message from today: put yourself first to make sure that you'll be able to help people. I wanted to make sure I said that correctly. Put yourself first so that you're able to help other people as well. Because if you're not okay in here, you're not going to help other people become better here. Okay? Really go deep with yourself. Nail in what you need to do to fix yourself. Eliminate all problems in your life, all the things that are holding you back, and move forward so that you can make the massive progress that you want to achieve in your life. I want to thank you for tuning in to today's video. And if you want to learn more about me and what I do and my coaching practices, you can check out the disciplineinstitute.com. It's something I'm really passionate about. I hope that you can see that passion through this video. So I want to thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.